Hey, what's up guys? The Snowman here. Today I've got my Rolex Paris Masters draw preview. We're almost at the end of a very tumultuous and one-of-a-kind tennis season. On the WTA women's side, just one more tournament this year. That's in about a week in Austria. For the men, they've just got one more notable event left as well in London, the year-end finals. Other than that, the shortened tennis season, though, is nearing its conclusion. So today I want to focus on the Masters 1000 event preview and analyze this draw for the tournament in Bercy, Paris. And pulling up the top quarter of the draw now, a couple key players not in Paris. No Novak Djokovic, who clinched the year-end #1 ranking this week. His 6th career time, finishing at year #1, tying Pete Sampras for the most on the ATP all-time. He's taking the week off, gearing up for London in a few weeks. Same goes for Dominic Thiem. He's not playing in Bercy, but someone who knows Paris pretty well, Rafa Nadal, will be in attendance. He's the #1 seed. Hasn't played since winning his record 13th Roland Garros title. One of the most remarkable things you'll ever see across all sports. His final against Djokovic, 6-love, 6-2, 7-5. An absolute virtuoso performance from Rafa, the king of clay, just muscling the ball around, incinerating all opposition in his path. You have to go back to the 2017 French Open final to find a shorter major final in terms of games played. That one, not surprisingly, also dominated by Nadal. Should be noted, though, historically, this is Rafa's worst Masters 1000 event. No titles, and he's only made the final once, so don't just pencil him in. Filip Krajinovic and Borna Coric will be in the way. Two tough hard-court opponents, and I also want to mention Hugo Gaston, the 20-year-old lefty French player. His fairy tale breakthrough at Roland Garros last month, had never won a tour-level match beforehand, but made the round of 16, beat Stan Wawrinka in the 3rd round. Gaston ended up bageling the 2015 French Open champ in the 5th set there, and he gave Dominic Thiem everything he could handle and then some in the 4th round. Just barely got outclassed in the 5th set against arguably the 2nd best clay court player in the world. Now maybe you're saying, that's a great story and all. He had the home crowd behind him, though. He might just be a one-trick pony in terms of being a clay courter, but from what I saw out of Gaston, that's not the case. He's got such an all-around game, a left-hander that's always going to be tricky to contend with. His drop shot is out of this world, has such a feathery touch, not the most overpowering skill set, but supremely adept at changing up the pace of play. I just think he's fun to watch. Carreño Busta is definitely going to test him. I want to see him on hard court, though. I want to see him continue to grow, but remember the name. No one's quick as Gaston. No one is slick as Gaston. In section number 2, your top seeds here, Zverev and Rublev. Zverev, a pretty difficult week last week with some personal relationship news stealing the headlines. May not be in the best headspace right now, despite his title in Cologne a couple of weeks ago. Rublev, on the other hand, other than Novak Djokovic, the hottest player in the world, the most informed man on the ATP Tour in 2020. He's got 4 titles this year. May get another one in Vienna, Austria this weekend. He's in the final there, and he looked mighty impressive, defeating US Open champ Dominic Thiem in the quarters. Rublev has won 18 of his last 19 matches, just playing with a ton of confidence. 23 years old now, has made a couple of deep runs at majors, and just has all the makings of a top 5, maybe top 3 player within the next year or two. Rublev, all about the rhythm, and he's just found a perfect groove. I could see Rublev meeting Grigor Dimitrov in the quarterfinals here in Paris. Dimitrov with a nice win I was able to watch over Karen Khachanov in Vienna. So impressive how Grigor was able to use his variety to get out of some tough backhand-to-backhand rallies against the Russian, utilized his backhand slice to perfection to lure in Khachanov, kept the ball extremely low, never allowed his opponent to get comfortable, and then Dimitrov smacked some scorching forehands throughout the rest of that match. Followed that performance up by knocking off world number 5 Stefanos Tsitsipas, Grigor's first win against a top 5 opponent this season. He did lose a tight 3-setter versus Dan Evans in the quarters, but Dimitrov is primed for another run. And speaking of Evans, we have a first-round matchup, Evans versus Stan Wawrinka. They just played in St. Petersburg. Stan won 7-5 in the 3rd, but Evans has been rolling lately, deep runs in Antwerp and Vienna. Interesting battle because the two one-handed backhands couldn't be more polar opposite. Evans loves to slice, keep it low to set up his other shots, and we know that Stan loves to come over the ball with his backhand and just crush it over and over again. Slight edge for Stan for me. In the third quarter now, we have the 3-seed Daniil Medvedev, who, like many human beings, has been severely disappointed with the year 2020. I saw a stat on Reddit yesterday. Medvedev made 12 semifinals in 2019, but just one Final Four appearance this year. He does have some real head scratchers thrown in too, notably the first round exit at Roland Garros, first round losses in Hamburg and Rotterdam as well. Medvedev might see Kevin Anderson again, who just defeated him a few days ago in Vienna. The Russian coming just a bit unhinged. Anderson playing that patented big man tennis, moving really well in my opinion too, getting from corner to corner nicely after the knee surgery, an arduous road to recovery the last 12 months plus. Anderson ended up making the semifinals in Vienna. Number 6, Diego Schwartzman, is going to look to parlay his incredible clay court success from the last couple of months onto the hard courts. Did just make a hard court final in Cologne, and we have to mention the man of the hour on the ATP Tour, the player that everyone is talking about, Lorenzo Sonego, 25-year-old late bloomer Italian who just experienced the biggest win of his career, smashing Novak Djokovic in Vienna. A breakthrough week. Djokovic looked extremely disinterested after clinching the year-end #1 ranking, which definitely aided the world number 42 and lucky loser Sonego. But give the man his props. Sonego was on fire, dealing Joker his worst loss on the ATP Tour of all time. It was 6-2, 6-1, a demolition in every sense of the word. He's got some firepower, and I'm not really sure what his best surface is, but that is a career and life-altering victory for sure. He's got Bublik in the first round, should be a lot of fun. And lastly, in Section 4, we've got the Greek who's gradually grown on me this year, number 2, Tsitsipas. We also see the 7-seed Matteo Berrettini at the top. I feel like Berrettini is the guy to watch out for in this draw because this tournament means so much to him. He wants to get back to the year-end finals in London, and there's only 2 spots left that are up for grabs for the ATP finals. Djokovic, Nadal, Thiem, Medvedev, Tsitsipas, and Zverev have all already qualified, so those remaining slots being fought over by players like Rublev, Schwartzman, Berrettini, Monfils, Shapovalov. Rublev is going to get in after a sensational week in Austria, but Berrettini needs the points badly. The draw doesn't look too bad for him. Milos Raonic is nearby, but the brittle Canadian has had a couple of walkovers recently, may not be 100% healthy. Another Canadian, Felix Auger-Aliassime, he's got a real fist fight on his hands against Marin Cilic. That's a popcorn first rounder. I like Cilic to win that because of the indoor conditions, ideal for big ball strikers. And FAA, a recent final in Cologne though. One more guy to mention, the hometown hero, Hugo Humbert, coming off a title in Antwerp, the second career title for the 22-year-old ascending French star. Plenty of great young French talent in the men's game right now. Humbert, highly gifted offensively, an excellent volleyer with natural instincts. I think he gets by Rude. They've split a pair of matchups this year, and I'm looking forward to Humbert, Tsitsipas. They've never met at the senior level, just once in the juniors. No fans at this event, but we know Paris is going to be pulling for Humbert. All in all, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Berrettini defeats Rublev in the final of this tournament, but it should definitely be an entertaining event as we wind down the 2020 tennis season. All right, thank you so much for watching my draw preview for the Paris Masters event in Bercy. If you have any thoughts, please leave a comment, and if you want more tennis content, please subscribe to the Snowman Sports Media. But thanks again, and as always, cheers!